Welcome back to Let's Play Xenogears. We have just entered the second anima dungeon cave. Another anima relic is stored in this dungeon. Now this place is a whole lot more primitive than the last place. We're at, and it's reason to believe that it's an older place. Now, for the most part, you're supposed to be using gears while running around in this place. This is not a place to be running around on foot, except for in areas where you absolutely have to. As you can see, even these little guys, these croaker tribes, they'll swarm you. Now, both Faye and Rico here, their defense is high enough that these little buggers aren't going to be doing a lot of damage. But Ellie, her defense is kind of low, so they take her down quite easily. I'm just sort of screwing around here a little bit. But these guys here are not really an enemy that you should be taking too seriously. They're just something that'll bog you down. The sound has gotten a lot better. Instead of the weird, kind of emulated sound that we had before, this new sound driver I've installed seems to be a little bit better, a little more faithful to the original PlayStation audio. Just get a good view of a few of Faye's different death blows. Apparently I was trying to train Rico up on his death blows. By actually doing the death blow combination, that's not exactly the best way of training for a death blow, but it works well enough, so that's fine. Croaker Tribe! Why do they even try anymore? They're not doing any damage, really. Something like that, what I just did, is actually a better way of training Rico or any of the other characters. Faye is actually trained all the way up on all of his death blows, but there are two death blows that he currently doesn't have access to because he does not have a high enough level. You need to be a level 70 and then 80 for the final two death blows. I may not achieve those levels by the end of the game. Shopkeeper Johnny followed us here. Now you go and you can tune your gear up or buy equipment like you did before. Although it's the same stuff. I'm actually going to make a little bit of a change, but not now. Now what you gotta do is get in your gears and push this this rock to the side, then get out of your gear, and then go through this little door. Avoid a battle. And in the door. Now, inside of here, we have the most irritating puzzle in the entire game. That's because it's kind of buggy. It doesn't always work. Even you could do the right thing, it doesn't always work. The first one to do is go behind that pillar and trigger it, and you get one of those blocks to fall down. Then you jump on that one, hop on the pillar on the top, and you get another one to drop down. Then you go over here, walk this way, and then you end up here, somewhere around this area. Should be getting the last pillar. Now sometimes it doesn't always work. You see me wandering around, trying to get it to work. Ah, there it is. It's kind of weird. Seems like it shouldn't have been there. Then you push these into the holes, and it lets you advance further. Irritating as hell, because it doesn't always work. And if you push the middle one in, which is likely the first one you're going to find, then chances are you will not be able to get at one of the other ones, because you can't get to the top of that pillar. Drives you insane! I spent like 45 minutes trying to do that my first time playing the game. almost killed someone. Okay, those things come together, and now that they're together, we can move forward. Gonna want to do this in gears. Now we're gonna be fighting a large enemy. You need to use gears against these guys, or at least you definitely should. They're called Tusk. It's like a gigantic kind of weird elephant thing. Not terribly strong, but if you're not careful, they can, like most enemies, they can kick the crap out of you. In the past several episodes, we've seen a lot of action going on in the hierarchy of Solaris. You have the power struggle going on, all that strife that's going on in the top end of Solaris between Kain and the Gazelle Ministry and Cerulean and all of that. We've seen them all, they're going for their own power, and they're all trying to accomplish their own goals. Now, for a while, it's been a little bit confusing who is actually in charge of Solaris, because you have, for the most part, we've seen figureheads. People came in like Ramses. Ramses was in charge of the military, and he went around and did all the military actions, and he was the face of Solaris. But after we had gotten to Kislev, we noticed these other people working behind the scenes, the Gazelle Ministry. They seemed to be the ones responsible for everything. They were ordering everything to happen. Every horrible thing that Solaris did seemed to be done at the will of the Gazelle Ministry. Then we see this other individual, Cerulean, show up. And Ellie refers to him as the real leader of Solaris. Then, of course, there's the Emperor at the top. Now, you would ordinarily think that a guy with the title of Emperor would be the dude in charge. But in this case, it seems to be that the Emperor has ceded his control, at least partially, to Cerulean. And Cerulean and the Gazelle Ministry seem to be against each other, at odds with each other, whereas the Gazelle Ministry seem to think that, like, yes, we are in charge, and they look down at Cerulean thinking, you should do what we say, whereas Cerulean just sort of brushes off their attempts to control him. But now we've seen something. Cerulean and the Gazelle Ministry are trying to further their plans. They're trying to go and use the Gattaca key, trying to do their thing that they've been working at for 10,000 years. But Kain suddenly steps in. He became the dissenting voice in Solaris. Said, no, this isn't going to happen. Horrible crap's going to happen. And they use that key. And Kain says, no. So, although Kain appears to have lost a lot of his political power to Cerulean, he can essentially veto anything that they put forward. We want to try doing this. Kain says no. Now, the thing about Kain is he is dying. He is 10,000 years old, and he's basically on the verge of death. And even with all the technology, like what's keeping Cerulean and Queen Zephyr alive for all these years, that same technology is keeping him alive. But it will not last forever. And Kain, being 10,000 years old, is extremely old. See, we have to get to the other side of this boulder. He is extremely old, but despite the fact that he is knocking on death's door, he's still extremely powerful. And anybody who wants to stand up against him is going to lose, basically. Yes, I fell down another hole. So that seems to be what's going on in Solaris right now. Now, the Gazelle Ministry are saying, okay, we need to go ahead with our plan, but Kain isn't with us anymore. So what are we going to do about this? They're saying we need to kill Cain. Now, who can do that? I mean, Cain is so extremely powerful. I mean, even though he's really old, he's so powerful. Who can they get to kill Cain? Here's a funny little trick here. It may seem like the best option is to jump to the side, but it just drops you down this friggin' hole. So what you gotta do is instead stay exactly where you were. Go to the end, last hole. Keep pushing forward, east anyway. Then you get that little secret passage. Now the same exact thing's gonna happen. Now, you can't really see it because of the perspective that you're at, but there's a hole in the middle of this platform up there, and Faye, Ellie, and Rico should be able to see it from their position. But you are perfectly safe staying where you are. See, there's a hole in the middle. And once it lands, you jump on the platform, and it takes you up. And the doorway will be over here once you get to the top. It's like an elevator. Now here's another little puzzle here. What you're trying to do is get the water halfway down. It's full right now, so the way you do it is you move it down or up 3 steps at a time, and there are 10 steps. It starts at 10, you want to get to 5. So what you want to do is to bring it down 3 times. So that drops it down to 1. Then you click on the button to turn it to 7. Then you raise it up 7, which brings the total to 8. Then you switch it back to 3, and you bring it down. So that brings it down 3 from 8, that makes it 5. Bingo. There we go. Who would have built all this crap? I mean, this is worse than Indiana Jones. These machines, apparently made out of stone, last forever. And the little platform is opening up. And that little door down there is what we're going to go through. I'm not entirely sure that is necessary, because it just drops us up here. You push this boulder out of the way. It's more just like a shortcut. And there's an item up here that we're going to want to go and pick up. Beastly robe. Now that is a piece of armor that only the girls can wear. So I can put it on Ellie or Maria or Emeralda. Alright, so we're back in this room here. We gotta and head back to the main area, the big area. Something weird. Look down there. That is Rico's gear sitting down there. What in the hell is it sitting down there for? I have never seen that before. That has never happened to me, and I have no idea why. Well, anyway, run down this thing, and I probably should be using the gears right about now. We're going to have a battle, which I'll skip over. Get a king's helm, that's a good piece of armor. Oh, another battle. Didn't wait too long for that one, did they? Here's another item you're not going to want to miss. The Ether Doubler. Now that is a character item. You equip it on a character. It doubles the strength of your ether attacks, but uses up more EP. It's a good thing to put on Ellie, because it also increases like the air rod's attacks. Do a quick save, and head up this way, And we are coming to an end of this episode, so come back for the next one, and we will go pick ourselves up a brand new anima relic.